You walk into a room and nothing changes. No one really notices your presence. No one shifts their energy. It feels like you could leave early and the conversation would continue the same way. And the strange part is, you are trying to matter. You adjust your tone, you overthink your replies, you become whatever feels acceptable in the moment. But deep inside, one question keeps repeating itself. If I disappeared tomorrow, how long before anyone actually felt it? And what makes this worse is your brain never gives you a clean answer. But there is a reason this feeling keeps returning, and it has very little to do with who you are. We'll get to that, but not...
Before going deeper, there is something important to understand. This feeling of being replaceable is not a personality flaw. It is an adaptation strategy. At some point in your emotional learning history, your brain learned a pattern. Stability in relationships is not guaranteed. So instead of waiting for stability, it adapted by predicting instability. This is not weakness. It is prediction. Your mind is trying to reduce future emotional shock by preparing you early. But the cost of this strategy is high. You start seeing neutral behavior as rejection. You start reading silence as replacement. You start interpreting distance as loss of value. And slowly, you don't just fear being replaced. You start behaving like someone who already is. Visual. Empty chair slowly fading in and out of focus. But why does the brain do this so automatically? The answer is not emotional.
What to do? Notice patterns over time, not single events. Why it works? The brain corrects predictions based on repeated data, not isolated moments. Real-life example. One cold message means nothing, but a pattern of warmth and distance reveals context, not worth. This prevents your brain from overfitting emotional meaning. 3. Reduce mind-reading behavior. What to do? Stop assuming emotional states of others without evidence. Why it works? Mind reading activates threat prediction circuits unnecessarily. Real-life example. Instead of, "they are bored of me," try, "I don't have enough data yet." This keeps your prediction system open instead of locked. 4. Build self-sourced validation moments. What to do? Create small daily actions that confirm your own presence matters, independent of response. Why it works? The brain recalibrates identity through self-generated feedback loops. Real-life example. Writing one honest thought daily. Completing something without sharing it. Choosing something based only on your preference. This weakens dependency on external confirmation signals. Each of these is not about becoming confident. They are about retraining prediction accuracy. And that leads to something important.
If we compress everything into one mental model, it looks like this. Your mind is running a social weather prediction system. Sometimes it uses current data, sometimes it uses old storms. And when old storms replay inside new weather, you don't see people clearly anymore. You see predictions. Feeling replaceable is not your identity. It is a forecast error your brain keeps repeating. And every time you separate signal from story, you are not fixing yourself. You are updating the system. Quiet, empowering close. There is something quietly powerful about realizing this. You were never missing something that others had. You were just running a prediction system that learned safety through doubt. And doubt feels like truth when it runs long enough. But it is still just a model, not reality, not identity. Just a pattern trying to protect you in the only way it learned how. And maybe the real shift is not becoming more noticeable to others, but noticing how often your mind predicts your absence before it even happens. Because once you see the prediction, you stop becoming it. And in that small space between thought and reality, you begin to exist without asking permission.